on this rap-ish. I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list. Hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu. And I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody's south to Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and plan to getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. Me? I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
That trade season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it
I hate
for
these
us.
average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my old flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I'll probably crack in my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete, I'm a verbal athlete. Deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building, my whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
Grand Rising and good morning to all of you out there. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I am your co-host, Trey Holiday, and I'm so happy we made it to Friday. What's up, Big O? Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday to you. Actually, 1 year and 1 week now on air for the Morning Update Show. It's good to be here. I want to say welcome to our audience. Remind you, right now is a perfect opportunity to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and tag and share the stream with people that you think would benefit from culturally relevant news and information emanating from right here in the Emerald City. Today we have two guests. We have an in-studio guest. We have Shukri Olow, who's actually running for County Council, District 5, and if elected, would be the first Black woman to serve as a county councilor or commissioner in the state of Washington. So we're joined by Shukri, and also we're going to be joined by Besa Gordon for the Rewind with Besa. Besa is on tomorrow at 2:00, and she's going to give us some insight into that show. So she'll be joining us as well.
Awesome. You know, a great lineup for Friday and, you know, a great way for us to get into the weekend. So I'm glad Shukri is here in studio with us. And, you know, I love when Besa can come on and give us a good update.
Yeah, I already know. Short on headlines today because we have some interviews going. But I thought that this was an important story. It's a national story, but the implications of this is, man, it's crazy. What's happening down there in Georgia with the new voting law that's passed. Got a short clip from CBS this morning.
Kristen, you mentioned voting rights. There was kind of a dramatic scene at the Georgia Capitol where a lawmaker was arrested after knocking on the door where the governor was signing a bill. What more do you know about that?
Well, Hoda, that's right. And it happened just hours after President Biden called efforts to limit voting rights sick, as you just heard in that piece there. Here's what happened in Georgia. Republicans there passed one of those controversial bills in a closed-door ceremony late yesterday. Now, while the Republican governor was holding a press conference after the signing, Democrat Park Cannon knocked on his door in the state capitol to demand transparency and was then handcuffed and arrested. You see it right there. She was then taken to jail and charged with obstructing law enforcement and disrupting the session. Georgia State Police say she had been warned. The backdrop to all of this, Hoda, Republicans in some swing states are pushing to tighten voting laws after the 2020 election, which Democrats say will restrict voting rights, especially for communities of color.
Yeah,
Hoda.
I know you'll follow that one up. All right, Kristen, thank you.
Trey Holiday.
Well, I mean, here we go. This is something that we talked about before, and it's just unfortunate that right there, they have it on camera. Somebody who is looking for transparency in a process that is going to affect all Georgians. At the end of the day, this is something that really people are not wanting to stand for. And it's unfortunate that they are able to do this in closed door session, not having it open to the public, not really listening to the people. This is one of those things that is unfortunate, whether she was warned or not. I just don't like the way that entire scene played out right there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder about Georgia and like what's going on down there because people are always suppressing the vote, and I mean, I guess the pushback last go around was they went out and registered a lot of people, and people came and turned out and voted. But part of this bill also says that they've reduced the voting hours, they've reduced the number of days people can vote. You can't bring people water or food who are waiting in line. It gets real hot down there in Georgia sometimes, especially in primary season and everything else. And this is just one effort of many around the country that's going on to suppress the vote. And what's interesting, though, about what's going on in Georgia is that the vote was counted there 3 different times. They counted the vote, and the Republican Secretary of State said that it was a very free and fair election. So it's kind of interesting that they want to bring a lot of reform around an election that the Secretary of State there said was free and fair.
Yeah, and I wish that they would actually just call it what it is. I mean, we saw a sign right there that said, "Stop suppressing our vote." Ultimately, this is what the people are talking about, and we all recognize it for what it is. To want to call it voter reform or something other than what it actually is a misnomer, and it's something that really the people are awakened to at this point. It's funny to me that they're still using the age-old tactics. I mean, we've talked about this since the beginning of voting, since the beginning of the democratic process, that there's always been measures and levels to try to suppress people from voting. And here we are again, seeing it right here happening in 2021. I think you're right about, the state of Georgia.
President Biden called it worse than Jim Crow. And Stacey Abrams called it Jim Crow 2.0. And it's an active effort to suppress the vote across 43 states in our country. So we're going to stay on top of this. But I think that we're going to go to break here real quick. Before we do, I got some handcrafted motion graphics right here. Up next, Shukri Olow, candidate, King County Council, District 5. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we've got Shukri in the house. You are watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't missing my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. My name is Omari Salisbury, and I'm joined now by Shukri Olow. How are you?
Thank you so much for the invitation, Omari and team. I am well. How are you?
I mean, it's Friday. We're always good here on a Friday.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
Good stuff. So now you're running for King County Council District 5. This is your opportunity right now to tell our audience, why are you running?
Thank you for that question. I am running for King County Council District 5, which covers 7 cities in South King County, including the city where I grew up in Kent, SeaTac, Tukwila, Burien, Des Moines, Normandy Park, and Renton. I am running because I believe that our work begins and ends in community. I'm running because I believe that lived experience matters. And I'm running to finally get the opportunity to center those of us who've been historically and presently marginalized from decision making.
All right. Sounds like you know why you're running. Now, that seat hasn't been competitive for a very long time, right?
It hasn't been competitive for a very long time. The incumbent has been serving as a county council member for about 8 years, and prior to that for about 12, serving South King County for about 20 years. And so we're excited about the opportunity to challenge the establishment and the status quo.
All right. And those cities that you named there, those municipalities, we've noticed a lot of shifting demographics there, even in the last 8 years and beyond, where you've got I guess you would say more people of color, definitely more Black people, more immigrants, more migrants, refugee population, some everything else. Do you feel that those shifting demographics and the people who are now living in those cities, they're not getting the representation that they need on the county level?
Yeah, thanks for that question. District 5 has demographically shifted in the last 20 years that I've lived in the city of Kent. There are a lot of immigrants and refugees in the community, as you mentioned, who have not had their issues and their priorities centered in decision making, both at the local level as well as the county level. And I think they are excited about the opportunity to have representation, and not just, the idea of not all skin folk are kinfolk, right? It's not necessarily just about having Black and brown people in spaces of power or decision making, but to have an opportunity to ground the conversation and to center the wisdom of this community. I've definitely seen that interest, including from young people who are supporting us on the campaign. We have 20 young people from the district called Youth for Shukri team, who are a representation of the community and who are excited about finally having a space of belonging where they can guide and inform decisions.
Right. And what skills or life experience do you feel qualifies you for the position here on the King County Council District? This is a big county, size-wise. It's a big county money-wise as well. And it's also a diverse county with a lot of different needs, going right here from the Sound all the way to the west. Vashon Island is in King County, all the way to the foothills of the Cascade Mountains.
Yeah, thanks for that question, Amari. I was originally born in Somalia. I came to this country as a refugee from the camps of Kenya. And we had the opportunity to resettle to South King County in 1997. I grew up in public housing in the city of Kent, went to schools here. I graduated from Seattle University with my master's in public administration. And for the last 14 years, I've been working on the human service side of the work. I worked at the Seattle Housing Authority doing housing policy work, about 3 years at Seattle Public Schools, currently work for the county as the youth development strategy lead for Best Starts for Kids. I am a mother as well of 2 young people, 2 beautiful Black children who are in the Kent School District, finishing up a doctorate in educational leadership and organizational learning, and have been organizing in South King County for half of my life. I don't want to date myself here, Omari, but it's been a while.
Don't worry,
I'm the old one on the set. Excited to bring both my professional experience, my lived experience, and my grounding in community to this position.
How inspiring, or maybe it wasn't, it's okay either way, but how inspiring was it for you to see Council Member Girmay Zahalai run and win a seat there on the King County Council?
It was incredibly inspiring. I canvassed for him a couple times and watched his campaign and watched him win. And just a little under probably a year and something that he's been in that position, and so much work has been done, especially in cities or in areas like Skyway. And so his race was definitely inspiring. I think also the slate of Black women who ran in 2020 during a global pandemic and not only run but won their races was also inspiring.
All right, good stuff. We're going to take a quick break right now. My colleague, Trey Holiday, she's going to pop in, have some questions for you, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, you're watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media. Welcome back to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday, and it is now my turn. I get to sit in the seat with Miss Shukri Olow. Thank you again for coming on to our show today.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Trey. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Well, listening in to some of the stuff that you were talking about with Omari, I think it's really important for people to understand the need for diversity in these seats. And I want to go right to it with you and ask how your lived experience, how your diverse background, you talked about, the work that you've done, but what are some of the things that you're already thinking about implementing that you don't see happening right now in that council seat?
Yeah, wonderful question. My background is in community organizing, and one of the things that I was curious about bringing to the campaign was to be able to co-design the platforms with community. And so I announced back in September of 2020, which is a bit earlier than most candidates do. And when I announced, I set on this effort to talk to community members and get a better understanding of some of the issues that impact folks in District 5. And so we began this community listening session, meeting with teachers, meeting with young people, meeting with childcare providers, housing providers, and people who are, doing work on the ground every single day to amplify the voices of our community. And so through that effort of co-designing the platform, heard 4 key areas for community investment. The first being public health and human services, including mental health and affordable childcare. The second being affordable housing as a human right. I grew up in public housing. I also lived in a refugee camp for about 6 years and was stateless for a good number of my childhood years. And so being able to invest in housing affordability is a major priority for community members in this district. And the third being able to bend our legal system toward justice. And then finally, supporting workers and small businesses in this district. And so we took the wisdom and the brilliance of our community members and then created a campaign platform around those 4 key issues, and then talked about what does it look like to embed equity and justice and love in those platforms, and to also elevate the voices of young people who historically have not had spaces of belonging, especially in government. And so we've been able to do that and then have these themes and conversations in community based on the platforms that we heard from our community members. And so, for example, in February, we hosted a conversation called Y'all Getting Vaccinated, a discussion on racism, medicine, and the COVID-19 vaccines in the Black community in partnership with my good friend Yante Damper. We had that event. We had Dr. Ben Danielson, Dr. John Bassel, Dr. Sandra Walker, just brilliant Black health healthcare professionals in that space who were able to ground us in the conversation around COVID, but also with a historical lens. Like, why are Black people hesitant in getting the vaccine? What are some of the data points that we're seeing, especially in South King County? And so we had that beautiful event attended by like 800 people, especially from, you know, our community members and healthcare providers who I think have an interest to do better. And then last March 15th, we're at March, all the days are a blur right now. But in March 15th, I also hosted a conversation with Chris Franco, a friend of mine who's running for King County Council District 9, looking at COVID's impact in the Latinx community and trying to ultimately move in solidarity, move in a way that goes beyond, you know, these boundaries and these regions that folks have created, so that ultimately we can all get to collective liberation.
Well, I think that that's a great way to do it. So much of the political process needs to be informed by people who, you know, are on the ground, regular individuals, regular community members. So it sounds like you really hit the ground running last year in September. And clearly last year, we also saw such an uprising, right? Where people were wanting their voices to be heard. They were getting out in the streets, protesting, police brutality, amongst other things, right? But really, at the heart of so much of that, we realized that the issues were about equity, right? And so when we talk about infusing equity into these 4 platforms that you have, what are some of the specific measures that you're looking at when it comes to equity in particular?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. Often, I think what happens is people who run for office, especially, will kind of get on the stage and say, I have the solutions for these issues. And I don't move in that way. I don't believe that a political candidate or an elected is our savior. I believe that the solutions and the wisdom and the work that we need to be changing comes from community. And so we've been able to ground the conversation in that way, and heard that it is central to embed and center equity in all the platforms. And so one of the ideas that we have is to be able to center the lived experiences of people who are impacted by legal justice or by, who are unsheltered, for example, in our communities, or have access issues around education or healthcare. And so establishing advisory boards or task groups whereby we can center the lived experiences of the people that are directly impacted by these systems, who often have an intersecting way of impacting Black and Brown communities in particular, is one key area that we're hoping to invest in.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And, it's great to not always come with these, I guess, practice or rehearsed answers, right? Or like, hey, this is exactly what I'm going to do. Because again, it is that collaboration. And so much of our communities, I think Black communities in general, really build on a relational basis, right? And so it sounds like you actually are able to bring some of those relationships with you into this seat. Let's talk a little bit about how you have utilized a relational process to then also kind of center your lived experience, and maybe that got you to run for this seat.
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. And I feel that I think about this question a lot. Ethnically, I am Somali. And so in my culture, it's about, building trust. It's about building relationships. It's about transformative relationships and not just transactional. And so we have definitely been focused on that. For example, when I meet people, I don't automatically ask for their support, right? I want to be able to show you that I am more than willing to earn your support. When I am doing a listening session and talking to young people about some of the issues that impact them directly every single day, I'm hearing for them. I'm trying to center their power and their voice, and that happens through relationship building, that happens through intentional and authentic conversations with people. And I hope to be able to bring that into this space, which I think is not sort of the norm in politics, right? People have these scripts and they have to appear to be perfect, and everything has to be set in a way that I think it doesn't feel right for me personally. And so I've been invested in relationships, and I feel like I've been able to do that in the last almost 15 years that I've been in human services. And I hope to continue to do that once elected.
Yeah, this is really great conversation we're having, Shukri. And I think one of the things that is popping up for me also is we see so much division right now. I mean, I was talking earlier about how what side of the fence you're on with the COVID vaccine can sometimes now become so politicized. But we also saw that in a nationwide perspective where, so much division is so between, this party, that party, this ideal or that ideal. And it's a thing where I think, there's a wide range of ways that an elected official can help to bring in more unity. And I really want to ask you, because we see it in so many different ways, what does unity mean to you, and how will you be able to utilize that as a part of your platform in the seat if elected?
Thank you for that question. I wonder a lot about what that word means to a lot of people. I think part of the challenge, and I think we've seen that in the racial reckoning that we've had last year, is this deeper understanding of some of the issues that disproportionately impact Black and Brown people, and then wanting to sort of sidestep the issues and these oppressive systems and then say, we need to unify. But unity that is not anchored in justice, I don't feel is unity at all. And so one of the hopes that I have is to be able to help provide that anchor, and that anchor for me being community and those who are disproportionately impacted by the systems, often the county systems, because we live in Dr. Martin Luther King County, and to be able to address some of the disparities there. And ultimately, I feel that if we center those who are disproportionately impacted, then we're able to get to a place of unity where all of us are better off.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And thank you so much for these answers, for coming on today. It's been great to hear a little bit more about you, learn a little bit more about you, and allow our audience to learn more about you as well. You guys, I don't know if you guys were feeling it. I was definitely feeling it. It's a great thing when we can bring, folks who are really looking to make some change and do something different in so many of these positions that clearly, as Omari touched on, has not even been, somebody challenging your incumbent for many years. And so thank you again, Shukri. We appreciate you being here.
It was an honor. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Lastly, how can people get up with your campaign? How can they reach out to you and learn more?
Yeah, this is a community-driven campaign. And so we need you. We need your support. We need your prayers, right? This is a really hard process, especially for candidates of color, Black women in particular. And so I need all the love and affirmations that I can get. You can check out our campaign website at www.electshukriolow.com. It's SHUKRIOLOW.com. Our Facebook page is Shukri Olow for King County Council District 5.
Awesome. Well, thank you again.
Shukran. Thank you.
All right, you guys. Well, we're going to take a quick break right now. And when we return, my co-host Big O is joining us. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
For the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
And we're back. We got to put a fade on that track, right?
It just goes.
It just gets us. All right. So it's another good interview. These politicians popping in, huh?
No, I always have more questions, right? Because we get into it, it becomes that like discussion, and I get so like into what they're saying, and literally as they're talking, I'm like, ooh, and what about this, and what about that? Really great to learn more about Shukri.
Oh, and listen, I want to tell you, we got a special treat for you in the last segment. The last segment today, we got something real nice that we're gonna air for you. But for now, we have Besa Gordon in the green room. There it is, those handcrafted motion graphics. Thank you. Can we please bring in Besa?
Hi, guys.
Hi, Besa.
What's up, Besa?
What up? Ooh.
Not much. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Happy Friday.
Right?
Were you applying makeup in the green room there?
Technically, yes. See, what I had did was I logged in. That way I would already have everything set up. And then I went in the bathroom and finished doing my makeup. And then I kept hearing my phone ring. And then I noticed, I was like, oh, shoot. It's almost time for me to go up. So kind of.
And now here you are. We got it's always a shifting viewership here, and wanted to talk a little bit more about your show, The Rewind with Besa. Another episode tomorrow at 2:00. But it's a clip that from a few weeks ago where you said something there about the Protect Black Women movement, and it's how sometimes people only want to take it skin deep. And you talked about the backlash that Megan Thee Stallion was getting for not wearing makeup. If we could play that clip.
So you're saying protect Black women, but then you're saying that she looks like a man in these photos. I think she looks quite great. I think she looks very natural. And here's another thing that I think, and I think some people might not agree with it, but that's fine. That's why this is called The Rewind with Besa. I feel like some of you guys are just not used to seeing natural women anymore. I feel like there is so much Kim Kardashian, filtered this, filtered that, plastic surgery this, plastic surgery that. And I don't see anything wrong with it, because once I get the bag, I'm going to get lipo on my stomach. So I see nothing wrong with plastic surgery. I see nothing wrong with makeup. Obviously, I'm wearing some makeup right now. But my point is, I feel like when you have women come out and they don't want to wear weave, you're like, oh my God, her hair looks flat, wimpy, it looks greasy. It's too short, it's nappy, it's this. They might want to not wear makeup. Oh, she has spots on her face. Why does she look like this? And it's like, bro, we have hyperpigmentation. Are you crazy? Oh, why does she have freckles? Like, I just find it so interesting that we want to say protect Black women, but when Black women finally strip down the way that y'all stay telling us to do, you say we look like men. So it's like, what do you really want? What are we supposed to do? How do we win? Do we win? Probably don't. Y'all know I don't have the answers to everything. I just go on a rant from time to time. And that's on what? Mary had 3 little lambs.
You know what? At the end of the day, that message is still spot on today, clearly. And, Omari gave us a stage. You know what that means, Besa? Sprinkle me, man. Well, let's hear a little bit more about what's going on coming up tomorrow on The Rewind with Besa.
So this show is going to be another solo type show. However, and I'll get to that in a second, we have to talk about Black Mirror. Finally finished all of the seasons of Black Mirror. I'm going to have to talk about some of the things that are in Black Mirror. If you've watched the show, they're actually already starting to happen right now, which is totally mind-blowing to me. So we're gonna talk about that on Saturday. There's this new AI rapper, literally a robot rapper. He's on TikTok. He has 1 million followers. There's apparently these different AI robot influencers that are models. And when I say models, I mean one of them was in a Calvin Klein commercial with an actress 2 or 3 years ago. Then we also have to talk about Derek Jackson and this whole dating scandal, because Derek Jackson is another self-proclaimed relationship guru who has now been outed on cheating on his wife so many times, to the point where he's cheated on his wife in their bed while he's telling literally women who they should date, when reality, what we shouldn't be dating is you. So we have Julia Jesse freaking joining us for that segment. And then, of course, it's still Women's History Month, so I'm going to add in, some positive words from different women that I look up to.
Oh my goodness, man. The pop culture is real out here in the field. I heard a little bit about this guy, Derek, man. I be the one that's most untuned to what's going on, but I can't wait to hear more about this AI rapper.
It's creepy.
Yeah. And we had a little bit of the discussion about the Black Mirror stuff. So I know you're going to do a deep dive, sis.
Yes, hopefully I might actually text Jake later on. Hey, Jake, if you're watching, I wouldn't mind you joining me for that segment, because Jake has watched it too. So once I was done, I literally texted Jake and was like, I just finished Black Mirror and I don't know how to feel about life. I don't know how to feel. I feel a little crazy right about now. So yes, I'm excited to kind of dive deep, get a little geeky, and kind of let you guys know what's coming in the future.
Man, look, that's when that art starts to mimic real life right there. Oh, you know what I'm saying? It gets real serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, all I know is I usually direct the rewind. And yeah, Besa goes in on a lot of stuff. So it's like, this is my connection to this is my pulse of the streets.
Right.
Besa, you can tell.
Sorry, I almost forgot. I also have to go over this list that I did. I did a Portland list for 10 rappers in Portland that you should know about. So we're also going to talk about that.
Yeah, and you get a list of 200 rappers that you left off that's mad at you. I already know. Besa, before we let you go, tell people how they can follow you on social media.
You can catch me on social media at Besa Gordon, BESAGORDON, Besa Gordon on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
All right, Besa. Catch you tomorrow at 2:00.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye, Besa.
Besa, she's always
all the way real.
She's always, man. She stays up on this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's always so deep. Like even before, she'd be like 3-4 pages of notes. I'd be like, yo, it's really, it goes that deep. She's like, yes. We're gonna take a real quick break right now. And like I said, when I come back, we got something special for you. All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. So it's Feel Good Friday. I thought we'd leave everybody with a feel good message here. We have a bit of a shorter show here today, but something real feel good. And it was also a big accomplishment for us here at Converge. It's like 4 years ago when we started Converge with Eric Calligraphy. The big thing that we talked about was just storytelling, telling stories from our neighborhood. And it's been a journey to get here to this point to be able to do that. But last night was the final episode of our Community Voices, the Vanishing Seattle edition. We actually made 4 films, Converge did, all 4 shot by Jake Gravbrot, and then also Nikki Barron came in on some, and Eric Calligraphy on some, and me on some. But behind Jake's lens, 4 films. They were very well received. One in the University District, the International District, Ballard, and the Central District. And so I wanted to play in full for you this film, executive produced by Converge Media. It's like our first. And it's on the Postman. And we've been telling this Postman story now for a few years. But we're real proud of this, and we'll play it right now.
Hi, I'm Kiana Pickett with the Postman.
And I'm Devon Pickett with the Postman. Brief history is that a young couple started a mom and pop shipping center in loving memory of my great-grandfather, Jacques Chappelle. He was a USPS mail carrier for 37 plus years in the community. and ultimately retired from the post office. And then we wanted to take it a step further and created our own shipping platform.
We really feel like we came in at a time where the community was really being hit with gentrification, and it's like not something we can prevent, but we're like right in the middle of it. And then with the USPS leaving and a lot of people really relying on that service, it was really a pivotal time when we came in, and we were like embraced with open arms because people needed the services. We brought back faxing. People were not able to send a fax anywhere. And so what Devon loves to say is we took a mundane type of service like shipping or the postal service and like created something that's like a culture, and you come in here to get lifted up. There's just so much that we brought to the community that it was missing, and that we're like growing off of what was already here.
I'm born and raised in Seattle, Central District area. My roots in the community are really tied in. Mailing or business where we're from in the inner city is not something that, you know, people are understanding the importance of it now, and they're becoming more enlightened in those things, you know. So to see us doing that is like, well, I could go start a tax company or, you know, whatever outside the box that we don't always, you know, outside of being an athlete or something like that. As a CEO, I like to look at the bigger picture of it all, and just knowing that we bring something that everyone can learn from no matter their background. It's pivotal. I just feel like in one regard, it could be just seen as a mail center, you know what I mean? But then if you dig deeper, it's like it says so many different things in the progression of where we are as a community.
There's a lot of different conversations that happen in the Postman. We go from talking about astrology to like what's going on in politics, and it's really like a space you can come into with your own views and have a real conversation and not feel like I'm gonna be wrong. We have a lot of entrepreneurs that come in that are just getting started and you know, coming and getting insight, and like they see that we did it and they have questions of like, how do I get to where you are at, or taking their business ideas to the next level. We bootstrapped it since the beginning, so continuing to want to grow and just already, you know, dotting our I's, crossing our T's, doing taxes, hiring employees. Those have all been like challenges that you face anyway, but then when COVID happened, then now, you know, you can't just walk into a building and go get service or just call someone on the phone because people are working from home. We did a promotion of paying for the postage for people to just send a card to a loved one or someone that they just wanted to give a message to, and we were inspired to do that because we were just seeing like a lot of people were freaked out. They didn't know what was going on, and we didn't know what was going on either, but it was our way to keep spreading love and getting people to be positive.
We want to employ as many people as we can from the community. We got probably like 9 employees, and majority of them are family, you know what I mean? Yeah, I see us being like a community like Starbucks, UPS, Apple, like all these things in one, you know? Just being a cornerstone for people, an outlet for them to talk, or a meeting space to have some time to connect, you know? We're young, we live in an era where like everything is moving. So we're very involved with the Postman, but we're also looking to start scaling it by like 2 years, 3 years, so that we can focus on other things that evolve this business plus other businesses we're starting.
The future of the Postman is the Postman app and neighborhood marketplace. What the app is going to do is basically allow customers to continue to use the Postman services, whether they come into the store or they're doing it from home. And then we'll have the neighborhood marketplace, which will be a marketplace of local micro and small businesses that use the Postman, that ship from the Postman, and that are here around the Postman. And then as we open up more stores, the neighborhood will grow to all those surrounding businesses.
The challenge has been staying true to the values of what we want, right? Through all the success, the failure, all those different things, because being young, being a couple, having a family, having a ton of success, being in the limelight, you know, it can be, there can be a lot that comes with it.
Since there's been a lot of changes in the Central District, we hope that with the Postman, we're creating more jobs, and we hope that the community wants to come and be a part of the Postman and part of the growth, because it's more than just shipping, and there's real community involvement. We just recommend and encourage the city leaders and politicians to, come down to the Postman, come talk with Devon or I. If you're looking to have insight on, people from the community that are on what we like to call the ground level or the street level, and that are also connected with, people who are up in the corporate. We talk to a lot of different people. That's where, being connected to community is our thing. And so we just encourage and invite, those city officials, leaders, politicians, come talk with us and find out what the people really want and need.
So yeah, really, we're really proud of this. Never, we never started Converge to be doing the morning update show, to be honest with you, or to be in the news or to cover protests or COVID or anything. We started Converge to, just tell people's stories. And man, we're finally doing it. And there's a total of 4 films, and we'll be releasing them like through the online platforms and everything. But it was it was a real emotional moment here last night with Eric Calligraphy, because it's been a long 4 years. And what aired last night, as well as the segment from Ballard, and then the previous 2 segments, when you talk about thriving in your space and thriving in your purpose, this is exactly what we said that we wanted to be doing, with storytelling in our neighborhood through our lens. So it was a real good moment.
I love it. So much of it is, that passion is so shared by, like everyone here at Converge. And I know for me, that's what really started me right out of college, like wanting to tell those stories. So just love being able to see the elevation of Converge and really cementing itself in terms of doing the work it set out to do. So congrats, man, to everybody on that film. And what a great partnership with Vanishing Seattle. My girl, Cindy Bro, for sure, another Garfield grad, I gotta say. And ultimately, what a beautiful, beautiful film. Great job, everyone.
Right. And this also presents a good opportunity to say thank you to all of our supporters out there, people who make donations, to our $5 family. Hopefully you see things like this and you know that it's like, man, nothing ever, 1, goes unappreciated, but 2, it's we're constantly growing and elevating. So we appreciate it. Any last words before we get out of here, Trey?
Man, lots of stuff going on today. Friday, I'm going to be busy, and I just hope that people again begin to really see themselves as a part of the solution. It was great having Shukri here today, and hearing how she's seeing herself as a part of the solution. So I encourage all of you to do that work as well. Get engaged and test those boundaries when you see them. Let's work together to create new normals.
All right, good stuff. So we got a few things here. Want to give you a heads up that on Monday we have Bruce Harrell, who's running for mayor of Seattle. Bruce Harrell will be joining us live in studio on Monday. And then also a reminder, tomorrow at 2:00, the Rewind with Besa. I got to hear about this Derrick Jackson guy. And beyond that, I just want to encourage everybody to have a good weekend and remind you to go forward in your purpose, go forward in your humanity. And until Monday at 11 a.m., peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth in heaven. of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun.